Wilhite and Henry Pearson were best friends since they were little kids. John survived the crash. Henry did not. Please welcome Henry's parents, Arita and Nigel Pearson. They join us from Los Angeles. Arita, Nigel, very nice to have you here. As you probably know, we've been talking with Nick's folks here, but sometimes people forget there were more people in that car that night than just Nick. Your son was a part of that horrible crash. Tell me, when you first got the news, how did it come to you, and what happened in those first few moments and in the aftermath of it all?
Well, I work in Las Vegas, Nevada, so I wasn't at home in Los Angeles, but I was staying with friends, and my friends said to me, you know how you were talking about your son last night and how he was out with that pitcher? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, Arita, it's on the news that the pitcher died last night in a car accident. And I felt like I had been hit in the stomach with a baseball bat. And then I was so emotional, and I just said, was it a red car? Is it a red car? And he said, no, it's a silver car. And then, of course, I called Nigel. And from there, it was just a phone tag back and forth till we heard the worst news a parent can hear.
Arita, tell me what kind of person Henry was. Tell me about him.
He was a very loving person and very positive and energetic. And he really had a never say die attitude. And we just let him go with that, you know. He was always the first one to try anything, and he was very adventurous.
And Nigel, your dealings with Henry as a dad, tell me what kind of issues you had with him. I mean, look, come on, every dad's got issues with a teenage son. So during those years, what was the biggest challenge you had to face with Henry during those times when he was a teenager?
As a teenager, he was always a very honest person. He was very enthusiastic about everything. He was so positive, full of life, and he just lived every day as though, you know, it was as though it was his last.
And he and John Wilhite were very, very dear friends.
They were good friends, yeah. I mean, they played, because Henry was just a sports nut from the age of about 3 or 4. Baseball, I guess, was his first love, but he played soccer very well, and also basketball. So they were on the same basketball team, soccer team, and baseball teams as they were growing up from just that very young age.
We have him with us here tonight, and so I'm going to ask John to come on out here, and he'll have an opportunity for the first time to meet Nick's parents as well. John Wilhite. John, it's great to have you here, and I know you've never met Janet and Dwayne and Henry.
You're big guy. Really nice to meet you. Henry.
A lot of Henrys in this story, aren't there?
No.
John, have a seat here with us and join us. And Nigel and Arita will continue to join us by satellite. John, one of the things that I guess this whole story, you're the sole survivor out of that horrible, horrible crash. You are a miracle. Nobody thought you could live through the injuries. Your spinal cord literally severed. The careful handling by the paramedics on the scene, and then good surgical care. But even then, there was not a lot of hope that you were going to make it, or if you did, that you would ever be able to walk up here on this stage.
I could have ran for you if you wanted.
I won't make you do that. You'd show us all up. But, I mean, it's an amazing, and I don't know what else to call it other than a miracle that you're even here. Do you ever just wake up and say, my gosh, my life is a gift back for, I've got to do something special with it?
I don't try and put that pressure on myself, but I definitely know when my doctors are, like, amazed at how well I'm doing. I actually had a doctor cry when he saw me walk in the room. So, I mean, the doctors don't know why I'm doing as well. I do the 3 angels I have upstairs, so I'm definitely grateful every day.
If you made a doctor cry, you've done something pretty good. Usually we cry when we see the doctor because we get his bill, and that makes us cry.
I know.
It is a tremendous story. Would you tell me, and I want to talk about the crash. I really don't want to go there, but I want you to tell me, in the final hours of Nick's life, was he having a good time? Was he celebrating his life then, along with Henry and Courtney?
I mean, there's no question, because the way he dealt with it every day, and even when he was off the field when I met him, you wouldn't even have known if he pitched a bad game, if he pitched a good game. He was Nick no matter what. So I would figure it was just another night of us going out having fun. It wasn't anything special, but I mean, that's just the way that crew was. And I mean, it was a really good group to be around.
But he knew he'd had a great game that night.
Yeah, but he would be the last to tell you he did.
Was he that kind of person? He didn't want to brag about himself?
Definitely.
That's really let me ask you, Janet, is that the Nick that didn't really boast of himself? I mean, most people, by the time they get to the major leagues, the percentage of people who start out to play baseball when they're kids and the ones who actually end up in what they call the show, I mean, it's just a minute percentage. Did he never let that go to his head?
I don't think he ever did. Dwayne describes it as, you know, his feet on the ground, his head in the clouds. I mean, he was real even keel, pretty much. I mean, after his debut, which we actually spent with Henry, that's why to hear Arita and Nigel talk about Henry, we were in the box at Anaheim Stadium night of Nick's debut. I mean, you wait for that night since he was a little kid. And Henry was as excited as we were.
So Henry was in the box with you guys.
Henry was in the box with us the year before.
Tell me about Henry.
He was
from your
blast.
perspective.
I mean, he was just had a great time. He was full of energy. Of course, we were.
Yeah.
Henry paced the whole game. I mean, it was just you're hanging on every pitch, and Nick didn't do that well. But we waited for him to come out of the clubhouse, and for a long time, he was always the last one out. We'd been doing that for years. And he comes out and he says, well, whew, at least that's over. I mean, he just always had something.
So he's got Henry, a brother, and then Henry, the friend, who is so encouraging and so excited about his success on the baseball field. You know, it sounds like that Henry Pearson, this wonderful friend to both John and to Nick, was a remarkable person who, without any sense of jealousy, was as excited for his friend's success as he would have been had he been out there pitching. Yeah. What a great testimony of Henry and his quality. Is that how you knew him, John?
Well, Dwayne and my dad were talking on the phone. We talked quite a bit. And my dad said, well, Henry was the half his glass full guy. And Dwayne was like, the glass was overflowing with Henry. So, I mean, he was just one of a kind. He's an amazing friend and person.
I want to bring Henry's folks back in. Arita and Nigel, you're hearing all these things about your son. What an unselfish person, how excited he was for his friend. Does that sound familiar to you?
Very much so, yeah. He was just, he was such a positive character that you just had to be carried along by his enthusiasm. He just liked just the most mundane things. He'd just say, Dad, I just really love that, you know? And you'd say, okay.
We're going to continue this, and when we come back, the parents of Courtney Stewart honor their daughter.